Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live today, How to Conquer Life Transitions. Today, we are talking all about transition and change, and I think it is something that we can all relate to at one point or another in our lives. And the fact is, change is inevitable. It has happened, it is happening, and it will continue to happen till the end of time. So if you're a living human being, if you are a breathing human, if you have work that you do and you have people in your lives, whether they're friends or family or anybody, you are in the right place. And this message is something you need to hear. So today in How to Conquer Life Transitions, I'm going to give you my perspective on change. And I really hope that it helps you respond and manage the changes in your life so you can step around the tragedy and really step into the triumph over and over and over again. And we're going to look at how you can encounter any life transition with grace and share 4 magic questions. I'm going to share 4 magic questions with you and give you a new perspective. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Larissa McCouch. I'm an author, speaker, and CEO of Larissa McCouch Coaching. And I help people unlock their magic and become what they're capable of being by releasing where they're stuck and taking action on it. And one of the things I think when we're talking about life transitions and how to conquer them, just think about, like, are you in a life transition? Are you thinking of moving from one career to another? Maybe you've been in a career for many, many years. Or maybe you've recently had a baby, or you've recently gotten married, or you've stumbled onto that relationship of your dreams. Maybe you've moved into a new home. These are all life transitions. You may have heard people talking about how exciting it is, or how that exciting that change is going to be for you. You may have even talked about it yourself. And you might be in your current reality. While it is exciting, you may be experiencing some frustrations. It might be uncomfortable and maybe a little certain. When you really take a look at it, you're going, why is it different than I expected? Okay, so what is it about that? And I think the thing is, change is inevitable. Change will always happen. Transition will always happen. And some of it might have been imposed on you. Maybe someone passed away, or you were forced out of a job or a relationship. And some of the changes you may have actually gone looking for. Maybe you're retiring from a job and moving to another one, or maybe you've actively found that relationship of your dreams, or you've been trying to have a baby and you finally had it. But whenever change happens, the thing is, whenever change happens, there's going to be a period of discomfort and adjustment. And how long this period of discomfort or adjustment might happen for can vary, but there will be some discomfort in that time. And so how you respond to it is your choice. And you can choose to respond or react, right? You can choose to respond to the things or react. So when you choose to respond, you're going to be more at ease. You're going to be happier. You're going to be happier with your work. You're going to be happier with your relationships, with your family, with yourself. You're going to be happier in your health. You're going to be more healthy. You're going to have a better sense of well-being. And you're really going to feel like you can show up at your best and live life on purpose. Now, the transition process is a period of changing from one state or a condition to another, right? You take one set of circumstances and you shift to another. And if you really think about it, on this planet, in our bodies, in the world around us, change is always happening. The sense of transition is always happening. Just think of every single particle on this earth. It is alive. It is in a constant state of change, and everything is always moving and vibrating. Nothing is perfectly still if you look at it on a cellular level. And it's always moving and changing form from one state to another. So even if you look at the water molecules, water changes to gas when it's heated. Water changes to ice when cold is applied. And so the same thing is happening. Everything is always in a constant state of change. And sometimes we forget that our lives are just like that. Our lives are just like this water. They will mold and adapt to the containers that we put them in. They will adjust to the temperatures around us, but ultimately we are who we are, and how we show up in this world is so, so key. So there's just a few things I want to point out about change, that when you're going through this transition, it'll help you conquer and triumph in your life, because the choice ultimately is yours. And I want you to make a good choice when these changes and opportunities for change happen. So first of all, I want you to know that there is a season for everything. We live in a society where instant gratification is expected. And while speed of implementation can be a really good thing, right? Efficiency is amazing. There is something called the law of rhythm, and it's demonstrated on this planet through something called the 4 seasons. And we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. And when we have these 4 seasons, when we work with these 4 seasons, just like the 4 seasons, you have cycles in your world. You have rhythms in your world. There is, with the seasons, it's a circular rhythm. It just keeps cycling over and over again. But you have rhythms in your world. And when you go through change, the seeds that you're planting today are going to lay the groundwork and really manifest in the next 60 to 90 days. So I want you to think about that. If you're planning a change or planning a transition, a lot of the groundwork that you plant today is going to take a couple of months to manifest. So you can think of a change and just jump into that change right away, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to feel easy or really natural in that state of change. It takes time for that to evolve. And so even when it comes to seasons, a lot of people are setting up their indoor greenhouses. They're planting their little seeds indoors so that when the spring and when the summer comes, they can put them in the ground outside. So same thing happens at work. If you start a new job, initially you're in the training phase. Things are uncomfortable. Your schedule changes. Your maybe place of work changes. The people you work with changes. There's going to be some things that may be really good, and they're different. They're going to adjust your normal. You're going to have to step into a new normal, and you're really going to have to learn your job or learn your role and grow into that. So that's really think about rhythm and the seasons of change when it comes to transition, because that's just something that's normal. And when you can have a greater understanding of it and acceptance of it, then that's going to really change your experience of it. So really raising your awareness and understanding is so, so key. The next thing is your perception and focus determines your reality. And sometimes this can be a difficult thing. So perception is your perspective on things. So my opinion on something may be different than your opinion on something. Is mine right and yours wrong, or yours right and mine wrong? It doesn't actually matter, because my perception and my opinion is actually right to me. Your perception and your opinion is right to you. You can be open to taking on other people's perspectives, but that doesn't necessarily make it right or wrong. It is what it is. And whatever it is that you choose to focus on is going to be magnified. It's going to dictate your reality. And so sometimes when conditions or circumstances are imposed on us, people die, people get fired or lose their jobs. That can really shake your boat. That can really impact your perception of things, because it may not feel like it's a fair circumstance. It may not feel like it was the right time. And that might be our perception, but we don't know other people's perspectives, we don't know the universe's perspective. So really realizing that it is what it is. Only your thinking makes it so. Look at your perception, look at the perspective you're taking, and look at what you're focusing on. What are you looping inside your head over and over and over again? Because that experience is going to dictate your reality. So are you looking for the bad things that are happening, or are you looking for the good in a situation? Are you finding opportunities in your transition and in your periods of discomfort, or are you getting hung up on what's not working? I'm going to strongly encourage you, find the good in any situation, because the more you focus on what is working, especially in the discomfort, in those periods of discomfort, the better your experience is going to be and the better your outcome will be. Right? So when you're in that period of transition, yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, it might not feel so good. When you really step into it, when you really start recognizing the lessons that you have to learn, the good things in it, you will walk away completely different. Because ultimately, it's all about you. It's not about the other person. It's not about the situation. It is about you. Now, I want you to also think, so third thing I want to point out is think about whether this change is for you or for someone else. Because sometimes we get stuck in this cycle of obligation. And if you're making changes for other people and other things, and you're not filling your cup up to offset that, you can't always be pouring from a cup, or else it'll get empty. You can't pour from an empty cup. There needs to be something that you bring back. So if a lot of the changes in your life are for everyone else, there needs to be something that is going to offset that, something that you can do to resource, something that you can do to fuel yourself, because change is going to happen, but you want to make changes that can help you, that can serve you. And in certain cases, you may not have the opportunity to do that. But if you're choosing to make changes for everybody else and you're not choosing to make changes for yourself, you want to really step back and reevaluate that, because that's not going to help you serve other people for the long term. You may think it's convenient, you may think it's what they want, but ultimately, people are good people. People want to see themselves thrive. They want to see you thrive. They want to see good happen all over the world. So you want to look at how this transition is affecting and impacting you. Is this change for you, or is it for someone else? If you've got too many changes and it's always directed towards someone else, you better stop and take a good hard look, because that's going to impact how you show up in the long run. Okay. So I think final point I want to make is you're never, ever going to be ready. Right? Waiting until you're ready is a complete fallacy, because when change happens, when opportunity knocks, you've got to jump, you've got to take advantage of it. And we all wanted moments where we wanted to act on something and we didn't. And I'm sure those are moments of regret. And I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but there's a time, I was 16, we were in Europe and we were at an art market. And I remember being in this market and I saw these two paintings. There was one of a really old woman and a really old man. They were mountain people from the historical cultural tradition. So they were a Hutsule if you're Ukrainian. So an old Hutsul Baba and an old Hutsul Dido. And they just had this character. You could just see the life in their eyes and the colors and the textures. It was an oil painting. They were two oil paintings and I loved them. And I remember thinking, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I'm like, I'm out of money. I'm like, I should probably save my money and eat, because I shouldn't spend my last few dollars on this painting. And I didn't know what to do about it. And I was so fixated. So my focus and my attention was on lack of having money. And I didn't come up with a solution in that state because my focus was in the wrong place. And later, when I went back to the hotel, I was watching all my friends unpack their art that they bought at the market. And I just remember this pit in my stomach. I felt sick to my stomach because these paintings spoke to me so, so much. And I made the choice not to take advantage of them, because I was like, oh, well, I'm sure I'll find something I'll love this much later. And even to this day, I never, ever have. And I've got some beautiful art, but not those two paintings. I still want those. And so I went back to the market. I decided I'm going to borrow money from someone. I'm going to get money sent to me from my family in Canada. And I was like, I'm going to beg, borrow, or steal. I'm going to get these paintings no matter what. So I went back to the market and they were gone. And that was a horrible, horrible feeling, because in that moment I reacted. I looked at my current circumstances and I didn't look at the change. I didn't look at the possibility of what I wanted. And I really looked at those circumstances at hand. And sometimes when you literally step back and say, I'm not ready. I don't have the money. I don't have the circumstances, but I know in my gut that this needs to happen. For me, it was purchasing those paintings. For you, it might be asking for that raise or that promotion. For you, it might be saying something to a person that you don't have the courage to normally do. But whatever that transition or that that point of change that you need to look at making, that leap that you need to make in your life. Maybe it's moving where you live, shifting the course of your studies. Whatever that transition is, if you don't really take a look at your gut, look at what your insides are telling you, and jump before you're ready, you're going to miss so many opportunities. And ultimately, you need to decide, like you need to make a decision for what you do, because at the end of the day, any transition starts with a decision, and you're going to either decide to do it or not. You're going to say yes with your foot on the gas, or you're going to stall and push your foot onto the brake, and it is your choice. So you need to ultimately make that decision. So first, you want to know that there's a season for everything, right? Everything works in cycles. We have a rhythm in our lives, even especially in points of transition. Your perception will dictate your reality. Your focus will dictate your reality. And so really look at what it is you're paying attention to. Notice if this change or transition is for you or for someone else. And if it is for someone else, make sure that you're resourcing yourself and filling your cup so you can show up at your best for other people. And realize you will never, ever be ready. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, decide. That's like my favorite simple strategy. Mel Robbins based her entire business from it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, make a decision, because your gut and your intuition is going to be right. Stop stalling and stop putting your foot on the brake, or you're going to keep doing that for the rest of your life. So I promised you that I would give you 4 questions. These are 4 magic questions that I think will be really, really helpful in giving you a new perspective. And one of the things that I do for a lot of my clients is I actually create worksheets for them. I have worksheets for, these are worksheets, that the workbook that we have from our last workshop, from the Self-Image Bootcamp workshop. I have worksheets that I create for my clients, and I find when you have something to fill out, it really makes a world of difference. So I have a worksheet that I've created with these 4 magic questions. So I'm going to give you the questions, but if you want my fancy worksheet, sometimes having a place to fill in the blanks can make a world of difference. So just type in yes in the comments or send it to me, and we will make sure to get that worksheet to you. My team or I will get that to you. We'll send you a DM with it, but just make sure you request it. So these 4 questions are really, really key when it comes to identifying and really looking at new perspectives. So first question is, what would happen if you did? What would happen if you did? Simple. Write it down and answer it. Second question, what would happen if you didn't? What would happen if you didn't? What wouldn't happen if you did? So what wouldn't happen if you did? And what wouldn't happen if you didn't? What wouldn't happen if you didn't? So 4 questions. And these are literally 4 magic questions. They speak to your conscious and unconscious mind. And they might seem a little silly, they might seem a little ridiculous, but they get you searching for those new perspectives to help you make better decisions and help you show up and overcome any transition in ways you may not and probably haven't expected at this time. So if you're going through any transition, if you're making any decision, I would strongly suggest you look at those questions and you do something about them. You really, really take them seriously, because they're called the 4 magic questions for a reason. So DM us, or even just put yes in the comments if that's something you want access to, and we will make sure our team sends it out to you by direct message. So I do them all the time. I use them all the time. So I hope they're really helpful to you. But I think if you are looking to really gain a new perspective on the transitions in your life, if you're looking to really make the most of everything that you're doing, we have an Unstoppable You workshop coming up on February 15th. And this is something that we run every couple of months. We run a 5-day workshop series, and we have so many people taking part and so many wonderful and incredible transformations that do happen. So if you are encountering a life transition, if you are thinking about a life transition, if something has been thrown on your plate and you're like, I don't know what to do about it, but things are changing and I need some help. This is a really, really beautiful time for you to step back and take some time to look at your life and really what it means. Because I can assure you, if you're in this group, if you're listening to this How to Conquer Your Life Transitions training, then you are looking for something more in your life. You're looking for a better life. You're looking for something more juicy and fulfilling in your life. And this is one way that we can absolutely help you do that. So we're meeting for an hour a day over the course of 5 days to really look at some of the self-sabotage, the procrastination, the anxiety, the stuff that is keeping you stuck and not allowing you to move out of your own way. We're gonna banish that, and we're gonna give you some really beautiful tools and strategies so you can move forward and literally become unstoppable, because you have infinite potential. You have unlimited potential in this world, and it really is magical when you tap into that. Yes, I know Kathy's like so ready for Unstoppable You. I can't wait to have you join us this time. So what I want you to do is, if you're interested in having those 4 magic questions sent to you by my team, put a yes in the comments and let us know. Say, send them over, yes, and we will make sure to do that. And also register for Unstoppable You, because that is going to be an absolutely mind-blowing experience. If you aren't registered, get registered, bring a friend, and see what it really is going to take for you to become unstoppable, for you to become the best version of yourself, for you to overcome any transition with ease and grace, and really not just conquer your transitions, but conquer your entire life. You were put on this planet to do beautiful and wonderful and magical things, and I cannot wait to see you make them happen. So with that, we are signing off, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.